17 times.
17 times John Cena. 17 times being the bad guy.
You're not putting that.
No. 17 times being the bad guy. Yeah. TikTok. We don't like you, fool. Anyway. Speaking of don't like you, fools. Y'all like this John Cena character? We'll talk about that real quick. We'll give 2 minutes to John.
Do you think he plays a good villain?
That's the question.
Yes.
That's the question. We'll start there. We like this. We like this.
So
Now, around.
well, I didn't watch the Suicide Squad movies or the.
Hold on. Time out. Before we get into this camera, you slipping, man. We're gonna end up having WrestleMania repeat if you don't do the introduction.
This is top of, man. We talked about this last week. This is the same conversation. See, when I try to slide through and get a topic off before the intro, now this man wanted to do an intro. Then when I did the intro, he was like, "Nah, I don't want to do no intro." So I tried to slide in with a topic.
No, we got to do the intro properly.
Man,
you the man.
See,
come on now, watch yourself now.
Speaking of bipolar. Got him. Anyway, all right, bet. Let's do this. We'll start it off right. We'll go to the John Cena in a second. Anyway, hold your thought. I don't want you to forget your thought. PVC Podcast Crew. You know how we get down. Dog. You know what? I don't know. Just looking. You know, this is actually our 101st video on YouTube. Believe it or not. I was just looking through. So. We appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate all 122 subscribers who've been rocking along with us, of course. We definitely couldn't do this without any and all of you, so we definitely appreciate your support. Keep rocking along with us. And for the ones who are catching us and crossing, like the page. And like, you know, my boy always saying, we'll say it again, you don't have to like the page to like the page. But we'll get there in a minute. Anyway, since this man wanted to get his propers off, I'm going to throw it to my man, Paul. Movie star, all that stuff. Dude, okay. Trying, getting this buzz up, getting this grind in, shining with the ladies. He ain't wearing no gold today. We ain't.
I just got my watch.
Yeah. He ain't trying to shine. He ain't trying to stunt. He ain't trying to stunt. He ain't on his stunt all week. He ain't on the stunt 101 today. He all right. He all right.
It's Friday. Don't get it twisted.
I know. It's early. Early. Anyway, Paul, say what's up to the people. Yeah. Got him. This is what he get for trying to mess up a topic. Go ahead. Say what's up.
That's all me. But. Most and foremost, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the PVC Podcast Crew. As always, I'm Paul. Most and foremost, just as an honor and blessing, and like Cam said, we reached, the 100 videos?
Yeah, 100 videos on YouTube.
So, as in general, I never thought we'd still be going through this far, and I'm pretty sure, Vic feels the same way, we've been doing this for about a couple of years now, so it's just, blessings in disguise can always happen, and when you say consistent and everything, you have the right people in your corner. Like I said, we would know where we would be at right now if we didn't do this. So it's just an honor and blessing still do it. So, but besides all that, I'm gonna pass it on to my boy Vic. Vic says it's up to the people.
Oh, good morning, everyone. On this beautiful Friday, we're gonna be recording our 101st episode right now. We want to thank you truly for sticking with us this long. If you've seen episode 1 to now, well, pat yourself on the back because we're not doing a giveaway. But
hey, no, we will. We're gonna do something. Don't worry. Don't let him do that. We'll get something done. Pat on the back. We'll do a giveaway or something.
That's a promo right there.
But we got some topics today. Hopefully you find them entertaining. We're gonna be talking about a little bit of wrestling. We're gonna be talking about a little bit of color. We're gonna be talking about a little something. And we hope that something is for you. As always, thank you for rocking with us this fine day.
Yep.
Don't mind Paul.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
But before we begin, we have to introduce the first and final member of the PVC Podcast Crew. I know I said first and final. I'm not taking it back.
Almost like first and final? Dang. He ain't wrong.
What can I say? We're a circle.
Facts. 3 legs to the tripod.
Anyway, introduce yourself.
Dang, really? Cam, a.k.a. Nerd Boy Fresh.
Freaky.
Follow me on the gram and all that good stuff. Yeah, follow me on the gram and all that other good stuff. Shout out to our affiliates, of course. Shout out to World Heat Entertainment, all that stuff. Shout out to Dirty Joe. Shout out to Z. Shout out to all of our affiliates. Before we even get started, before we even get to the topics, real quick, check us out real quick. Actually, we'll throw a few minutes here too. Check us out. We just dropped Hilltop Brawl 2, Clash of the Masters. That is on YouTube right now, courtesy of World Heat Entertainment. Shout out to each and every person we had a chance to rock along with us. Appreciate y'all having the PVC Podcast Crew a part of that project, of course. We got a lot of good things coming in that regard. Also, shout out to Dirty Joe. We're going to be working on a project for him later on this year, so be on the lookout for that, of course. Besides that, let's get back to the John Cena thing. You said, do you like John Cena as a villain? All right. Elaborate a little bit before we get there.
Right, so, before we started, I was talking about how John Cena lately has been portrayed in the DC movies. Now, granted, I never watched Suicide Squad or the Peacemaker show.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been portrayed in these movies as a more villainous or anti-hero.
Correct.
Or whatever, but yeah, basically a more serious role. I mean, if we look at John Cena's career as an actor, he has a very mixed role where he's got a few family-friendly movies.
True.
Right? You know, cartoons. I know he's in Scooby-Doo.
That's correct.
And strangely enough, this is a throwback. Back in the early days of YouTube, there was a YouTube channel called Fred.
Yes.
Right? And for whatever reason, he got so popular, he had a movie produced by Nickelodeon, and I know John Cena was in that.
That is true.
Right?
That is true.
So he had movies like that, and then he started doing more action stuff. Then I think he was in a few of the... No, he is in a few of the Fast and Furious movies.
We're gonna address that in a minute.
You know, and then now, recently, his most recent work that I can think of is him playing Peacemaker. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you can literally watch his progression from child-friendly to much more mature content, and now he's back in the WWE and he's playing the role of a villain this time.
Mm-hmm.
I think over time his career has evolved enough for him to be able to pull it off. Right? If he tried to play being a villain, like off bat from making the Fred movie, that's not going to work.
I agree.
But he's had many years to develop his image in media. Right? Now I think ultimately he's still going to be viewed as more the quote-unquote good guys in media, but I think he's trying to be taken more seriously now, and I view him as he's able to do it. Are there those that can do it much better than him? Yes, but I wouldn't say he's a bad pick.
Let me ask this question because you brought up something super important, because this will probably give you the answer. Did y'all both watch Fast and Furious 9 when he was in Fast and Furious 9?
Yeah.
I want to say yes. Yeah.
I saw it.
So, if I remember the movie correctly, he started off, like 90% of the movie, he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
He was projected as the bad guy. Even though he was Dom's brother and all this stuff, and you knew that there was going to be some sort of connection, but he was portrayed as the bad guy for 90% of the movie. Until the very last second, then he flipped and became the good guy. Y'all remember that, right?
Yeah.
Did y'all like him when he was playing the bad guy role in that particular movie?
He was serviceable. He wasn't terrible. He was fine. I think the problem is quite literally with his image. His physical, how he physically looks. Now, let me explain. It's not that he looks bad, but he doesn't give off the image of someone nefarious. He's a little too clean-cut looking. And plus, just his facial structure, it's harder to see it with like an angry scowl or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or just, it's hard for him to look like he's mean-mugging or mad-dogging, right? That's just my opinion. Obviously, he can do it. He can absolutely do it. It just doesn't come naturally, I would say.
I can see what you're. I can see
No, I'm getting somewhere.
I can see your take on that.
I'm getting someplace with it, but go ahead.
For me, for Fast and Furious 9, he did a good job on that. But I feel like they could have added. He could have did a little bit more action in there. I feel like they gave him more of a role of just talk and express, which is nothing wrong with that. That helps you bring out the majority of your character in that. But you mentioned something too about his acting and stuff. This John Cena now, just because he looks slim now than he was when in his 30s and his 20s. So to me, he actually and this might be off topic, but I don't know if you saw this movie. You probably have it, but Cam, I know for sure. You remember that movie with Johnny Depp, Public Enemy?
Public Enemies, yes. Public Enemies.
You see how they dressed in that fit? How they cut look and stuff like that? John looks like that a little bit. Actually, I can see him playing in a mafia movie, like with him, The Miz. Probably.
See, this is kind of okay. This
because they have that kind of personality. If you see them in the old school,
let me get. Okay. I got you. Let me spin this. Go ahead.
So we're talking about him playing the bad guy, right?
Yes.
I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay, no.
Go. Let him go.
So okay, you brought up that movie. Do y'all remember the movie Heat?
Yes.
Okay, those were bad guys. Those were bank robbers.
Yes.
I think John Cena can play that kind of bad guy.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what he's saying.
But that's what I'm saying.
But let me say this.
Because hold on before you say, because the reason why I say that because over the years at time, like the last 3 years I would say, when I'm watching him in the ring or if I'm watching him doing a movie, I'm like, certain ones you're like, and when he did a fantastic job in the Peacock. The HBO original. What's it? Peacemaker.
Yeah.
He did good at that movie, but I feel like he will play a good role if it has something to do like a mafia movie, him and the Miz can play good doing the character thing with Johnny Depp and stuff like that. To me, I just to see it, but then it's like I can see him portraying as one of those, just in general, because he has that look like you can see him coming down. Remember that when he did the entrance scene with CM Punk at WrestleMania 22 when they did the mafia.
I got it, but here's the thing. I think this is my thing. I'm gonna go after because y'all put the Miz in there, and I can use him as a reference point. I can use The Rock as a reference point because here's why I can say you can use it as somewhat a reference point because they both did similar movies, by the way. The Miz did the Marine. John Cena did the Marine. So you have a literal benchmark for how that looks like, by the way. But the reason why I say it because you brought a point. Here's my first question. I'm gonna get to the one about the Cena in a second. If you took Cena's role out of Fast and Furious 9 and let The Rock do exactly that role, like play the bad guy and then become the good guy at the end, does The Rock look more of a bad guy than Cena looks more of a bad guy? Because you got enough body of work to kind of see this.
You wanna go?
Because this is super important, by the way.
Because I train in pro wrestling.
Not from a wrestling point of view, but from a movie, literally from a movie point of view, looking like the bad guy.
I'll let you get it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you're asking if, excuse me, if John Cena was switched with The Rock in the Fast and Furious movie, would The Rock be a better villain?
Correct.
The answer for that is no. No. Now, why do I say no? Because The Rock wouldn't be able to play that kind of villain.
I love my kids today.
Okay, so now obviously, villain is a very broad term.
Yep.
There's many different types of villains. For instance, Chainsaw Massacre, that's a villain.
Yes.
Right? Lex Luthor.
Was a villain.
That's a villain. Obviously, they're not the same thing, but they're both villains. What I'm saying is certain villains need to be filled by certain roles. For instance, like The Rock, it's a shame he never did it, probably never will, but he would have made an excellent Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is tan, muscular, and bald.
But he tried it. What was the movie that he played? Hercules? That he tried. What was the
Hercules?
No, not Hercules. Black Adam. They tried to make him the bad guy. He couldn't play that.
Oh no, because that was a whole controversy.
It was a bad movie anyway. Yeah.
But anyway, no, I don't think because John Cena and The Rock, while yes, they have both very similar origins and very very similar career paths, they diverge heavily in terms of how they present themselves. Right. The Rock is always presenting himself in most best angle, while John Cena is willing to be portrayed a little more less flattering. Like he's willing to be portrayed kind of as a chump a little bit in his works. Like character Peacemaker, right? You know, you wouldn't call him a successful and happy person.
No, yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying because he's more willing to.
And on top of that, John Cena is willing to lose.
Yeah, because he's the same John Cena who walked bucket naked onto the.
Yeah,
Hey, this is a change.
You
No.
had to do
You
the
have
to do the Cody Rhodes shot on him.
No, but all this stuff plays. It's all
Yeah,
important
I know.
It's all important because to me personally, I don't think you could take him seriously enough as the bad guy. This is where the whole WrestleMania moment, like him being the bad guy, flipping during Elimination Chamber, and then leading into WrestleMania, and him looking like the bad guy now, coming in all black and all this stuff. Even with all that being said, because you've been so the good guy, or even like the closest you've been is like what you said, the anti-hero. That's the closest you've gotten to being a bad guy. He doesn't look like a bad guy. He half the time doesn't sound like a bad guy. His girl ain't even a baddie. I mean, she a baddie, but she ain't a baddie. She a baddie, but she ain't a baddie like a bad girl, bad type. He got a good girl, and everything about his life, from his acting to now,
Would you
he's been
say-
good. He's been good.
Wait.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard for you to see it any other way.
How do you feel about the title Boy Scout?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
That's
Because
a good point.
you're a Boy Scout. Even though you could try to be as hard as you can, it's no way that you could see him play. Like when you say could he be in Heat? Yes, he could look the role like you would put him in a suit and he could look like a dude holding a Tommy gun. Facts. You're not wrong. But as soon as he opens up his mouth, that goes out the window.
See, here's
Even when he's trying, and don't get it wrong, and if you saw some of the wrestling segments, he's trying so hard to be the bad guy, and it comes like to the wrestling world, it comes out believable because it's so much in shock. But even with all that being said, it's still like it's hard for him to pull it off. It was hard for The Rock to pull this off. It was hard for him to pull it off. You know, the reason why when you brought up The Miz. You know why with The Miz, he could play bad guys easier? Because you look at him like he's really kind of like the bad dude type dude anyway in his real life. Even though he's not.
With The Miz, he can get away. He's like one of those guys you be in high school with who just be like, man, he just talking all kinds of stuff. He's arrogant, you know.
Yes.
Self-centered.
No,
you know,
because why do we know he's arrogant? Well, let's rewind the tape about 25 years ago when he was on The Real World. He was arrogant then, so he was always the bad guy then. So you know what was hard for them to do when he was in WWE? Make him good.
Yeah.
It was hard to make him good because he was innately a bad dude.
But see, I use that as an example.
That's why I said he was a bad dude who had bad intentions, who so happened to be an anti-hero. He got into WWE. He was a bad guy then. He married a baddie who's a baddie. I'm telling you this because he did everything completely opposite of John Cena. And the reason why this is important, because remember about 6-7 years ago, when John Cena was with Nikki, when he was with Nikki, and then The Miz was with Maurice, and they did the whole WrestleMania thing. This was the whole time, and this is the reason why they put them together, because y'all both couples, y'all do the same thing, but The Miz is the bad guy, and he looks like the bad guy, acts like the bad guy, sounds like a bad guy, and Cena was the good guy.
But see, here's another point, because you know, because I've trained in this and I know a lot of pro wrestlers and stuff like that. You don't have to be a bad guy to be a bad guy.
Facts.
And I say this with content because when I tuned into Raw, when you can get an audience to say the chant, and I couldn't even believe it. I even turned up my surround sound and I couldn't believe it. To say "we sorry." Even though they know what the outcome was gonna be, I got them hooked.
No.
You don't see when you can get a group of people to even just consider just to look at something, and then they just go in the mindset of like, wow, it was real, but it even got more real. And when he walked out of Allegiant Stadium and put the belt around his back and stood like this, that's it.
No,
I mean,
he's trying.
I mean, the finish could have been more better, but
forget all that.
But him just playing that role as a now, because if he would have done that 15 years ago now, he probably wouldn't have got a pop. But as a now, at the peak, at the lowest, at your stage of your career,
he doesn't feel like the.
I mean, it doesn't feel like but it's majority is real.
No, that's the problem. To a real one, this ain't real. You could try to be the bad guy all you want. We were just talking about this. We were just talking about this earlier in the car. You could try to be hood all you want, and your whole personality may be you the Diet Coke. Yeah, you may live in the hood, you may be in the hood, you may do all that hood stuff, but that ain't you.
Yeah.
He's trying to do something that we know with 100% certainty, no matter how hard he tried to be that, like the bad guy, we know it ain't him. This is why all this stuff is being responsible. It's not him.
So salt can't be sugar.
Exactly. It's like no matter how hard you try to be the bad guy, and he's trying, and don't get me wrong, he is trying so hard to be this character, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he ain't doing a great job. He's doing a fantastic job being this character, but everybody know that ain't him.
Well, to me, he had if he was gonna put a little bit more spice on the sauce, he should have changed his not his wardrobe.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with road. You could put him in all black. You could put him in. You could change his wardrobe. You could put him in the whole corporate suit, whole nine. You could do all that stuff. But it ain't gonna. You can't change what that dude is.
You can't change what that dude is. Yeah, but he's still good on the mic.
If you are nerd boy fresh, you are nerd boy fresh. It's what it is. You ain't gonna change that. That was born in you. You ain't gonna be able to change it. You could try to be thug, and even the thugs will tell you, this ain't you.
But I tell you this, before he hangs it up, and once he will soon enough, you gotta get credit to do 17 times.
No, that has nothing to do with his accolades. That has nothing to do with what he's accomplished in the WWE, as a movie star, in his real life. Everything that John Cena has done, 90% of it has been successful. Yeah, you had 10% fumbles, like you walking around bucket naked on the stage. Yeah.
Let that go.
Yeah, and you had a couple of fumbles with Peacemaker wasn't all that great. We're gonna keep it strong. You did solid in the Marine. Don't get us wrong. You did good in Fast and Furious, which is courtesy of The Rock, by the way. That people don't understand.
He's still getting good roles. I mean, he got another movie coming on Prime.
No, he good. No, he good.
What's that British actor, black dude?
Idris Elba. No, don't get it messed up. John Cena.
He did Freelance.
And John Cena is a good actor. He's very good at what he does. It's just I could never see him as a bad guy.
Can I ask you a question though? And give me your honest answer. Do you think he's a better actor than The Rock?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I know you.
Wait a minute. Is he a better actor than The Rock?
Yeah. I knew you was gonna say yes, but I want to hear it.
Cause we got body of work to compare this to now.
Sure you go.
You sound like CM Punk. I'm here to chew bubblegum.
Facts.
I love that. That was a Roddy Piper right there.
I'm here to chew bubblegum on the head. I forgot about that.
Rest in peace, Roddy Piper.
Yeah,
that was the best line he did.
That's a good question, Vic. Is he a better actor than The Rock? And The Rock has a very good body of work, but from a skill point of view, no. The reason why I got to say this because there's certain because here's the thing about The Rock. Okay, so I gotta break this down. So good rock movies. Let me think about this. Fast and Furious, of course, he was fine there.
My favorite one.
San Andreas, he was solid there. The Mummy,
Red Iron Gang.
Los Angeles?
No, San Andreas. That was a disaster movie. Good.
That was real good.
He was good in that. He was solid. San Andreas, Red Iron Gang. He was cool, man. Faster, it was okay. It was,
you didn't know. I know why you didn't like it because the
no, it wasn't that. It was just what it just he could have done better. But Tooth Fairy was trash. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because for all the
game plan was my movie.
No, for all the good movies. Yeah.
Walking Tall.
Walking Tall was good.
The game plan was
Walking Tall was good.
The game plan.
That's yours.
Walking Tall, yeah, you can have that. Walking Tall was good. The Mummy was good.
Scorpion King.
Kinda.
We're just throwing out as movies.
Yeah. Let me see. What else is there?
Ballers.
Ballers of the TV show was cool. He actually did good in that.
What was that one he did with Brandon Fraser? Not the Mummy.
That was Scorpion King.
Not the Scorpion King. It was the Disney one he did.
Oh yeah, no, it's trash.
Okay.
He also did all the Kevin Hart.
Journey of the
He also did the Kevin Hart movies. He did Jumanji was cool. Central Intelligence was funny.
Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise was trash. He can have that. Jungle Cruise was trash. The others.
Baywatch.
Baywatch. Nah. Baywatch was trash. It was trash.
You can't forget his latest blunder, Red One.
Red One was kind of. No, the movie was no. The show was bad.
You didn't like it because they had what's the name in there, the Wonder Woman chick.
No. It wasn't that. It was like it was a trash.
Yeah.
No. It was It was good. No. It was good actors with a trash script. If that makes sense.
Okay, I give you that one.
It was good actors. It was just a trash script. The script was trash. And that you can't hang the actors on a trash script.
Okay.
But when you talk about John Cena, wait.
You know he was in that.
Yeah. When you talk about Cena, well, we got Peacemaker, Fast and Furious. What else that boy been in? The Marine. He's been in a couple of other ones too.
What's that? The 12 Rounds.
12. That's the movie I was talking about.
That was a good
12
one.
Rounds. He was really good in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can make a case to say that John Cena does better.
So I'll explain why.
I can make a case. I can go with you on that.
All right, I'll elaborate on why I think John Cena's a better actor than The Rock. It's because John Cena can play other people. In the sense of anything The Rock does, he's just The Rock. And this is the same problem I have with like Vin Diesel. They're not actors. They just play themselves in whatever they're in. I mean, sure, they have a different name, but they just play themselves. Like, The Rock is always The Rock. Like, no matter what. He's never... You've never seen him play a character that's cowardly or yellow-belly or terrified or something like that.
They tried doing that in Central Intelligence. It didn't work. I got it.
Yeah,
I see what you mean.
I got it. They tried doing that in Central Intelligence and Jumanji, and it didn't work.
He only plays himself. Whereas John Cena is willing to play...
No, because you said that. It's just, I think for that, and you're not wrong, Victor, because it's as anything you see in The Rock, it's still him. It still feels like him. Yeah. Because it's like, you can't say, oh, I'm going to change the ethics or something, but you still play. Even though, like you said, you can change your name all you want in the movies, but it still feels you.
Yeah, versus where John Cena can play an actual different character. I would say.
Right, and I agree with that. That is a very good analysis, and I actually agree with that. Because I think that when it's The Rock, he only plays himself. You're correct. And when it's Cena, he can kind of be another character and kind of tap into it a little bit. I agree with that. Kind of like.
Well, hold on. Do you feel that way when he was in Pain and Gain? Like you feel like it was?
Yeah, same thing.
It felt like it was still The Rock.
Yep.
I haven't seen that movie in a really long time.
Yep, I do. Because I still think it's just The Rock being The Rock. But that was Mark Wahlberg, like, getting all the way busy in that movie. That was his movie. He got all the way busy in that.
That was one of the few movies, I think that was when The Rock was still building his career, where he was a side character. He wasn't the main show.
I mean, he was like kind of.
He's on the cover, but
he was Mark Wahlberg. Shout out to him. You know, very underrated as an actor who got a lot of banger movies. But The Rock, he did all right in that. Like I referenced like Walking Tall, where even though it was a character, but it was still just him, just being him. That you're dead right with that. And let's say if you interchange and put Cena in that, if you put Cena in that regard, I think he will be better. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. I agree with that. Dang, that's a good question though. Cause I have to kind of rattle. I'm just trying to rattle through movies of Cena, because he doesn't have a lot.
Now here's a question. I don't think it would be done now because I think they're all a little too old for it, but maybe like 5 years ago. Like, how interesting do you think a movie... Like, what if they remade Reservoir Dogs with a bunch of wrestlers?
Well, wow. Wow, wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait
Obviously, Cena's Mr. Pink.
you right on that, boy. You right on that.
Keep it going.
Oh, you right on that.
All right.
What if they? Okay. Question was posed. I'm gonna let Big go to it.
Yeah, no, I just a little fun question here, because you've seen Reservoir Dogs, right?
Yeah.
I said, what if they remade Reservoir Dogs with all
With
the
wrestlers?
with the wrestlers. And then I said,
Guess-
John Cena's Mr. Pink.
Yeah. He dead right too. He is
For some reason,
dead
I can
right.
see that work.
No, that's
you'll
dead
have
right.
Cena, you'll have Triple H. You have to have Triple H in there.
No, you gotta have Cena, Seth, The Miz, did
Roman Reigns.
Roman, yeah, Roman,
He's a good in the suit.
yeah, Roman, and then who you gotta get
Karen
to
Cross.
No, you gotta get no.
AJ Styles.
AJ would be cool, and then
Braun
you gotta,
Breaker.
Nah, he too much. He got too much. He'll bust the suit open. Nah, he can't have Braun. that boy got big man. No, so that's what I say. You gotta have like a Carlito, and then you gotta have like a
yeah.
He'll bust the suit out.
He want to spear everybody. Yeah.
You can get
Shout out to Braun
Carlito.
Breaker too.
Get Carlito. Wait, no, let me think about this for a second. So you have John Cena.
Roman Reigns.
Roman could be cool in that.
Triple H.
Maybe not. Yeah, I would like this dude.
I can see
Roman.
Daniel Bryan
Nah, I would.
or John Moxley.
Well, I'll help you pick. Who would be doing the part with the stuck in the middle with you?
The
No.
Miz,
No,
boy.
no. Not the Miz.
The Miz.
Not the Miz. We gotta go AEW on that one. That will be MJF. He can sing that role very well.
Oh, yeah. I can do MJF because he does some singing and stuff. Yeah. That's not a bad call.
Yeah.
MJF, shout out to
I'll put
MJF.
MJF on
Yeah, I
that
like
one.
that. That's cool.
Turn the music up.
Yeah.
Yeah, MJF would be a cool. That's not a bad call. No, here's a roster. MJF, Cena, Edge,
Yeah.
Edge, AJ Styles,
Bobby
and no, because we got to get I like Carlito on that role because Carlito. No, actually put Dom. I like Dom. A young Dom would be cool with the little mullet and
I can
stuff.
see Dom in that.
Dom with the suit and the mullet and
yeah.
stuff. That'd be cool. And you gotta get the token black guy. So you gotta probably get a.
Sheldon Benjamin.
No, we gotta get
Bobby Lashley.
I would think of either Bobby or I would think of like Big E. Cause I can see because Bobby look all
You know what? I go with Big E because Big E had that.
Because Bobby look.
He has that smile.
Because Bobby looked like an African. Let me shut up.
We gonna hurt him.
Let me.
Okay, no. Then let's get our truth then.
No. What I'm saying is that you gotta get somebody who kind of look it, and I think Big E more looks that role.
Because
He more looks the role. Either him or because Xavier. Xavier's too like small. He's too goofy.
Yeah, porn star. No.
Don't only fans him out. Don't only fans Xavier out there like that.
But anyways, but if we
sold him out, damn.
just facts is facts, but hey, he's still a
Hey.
I'll give him that. Y'all call him Creed.
Up, down means more than up. Up, down. Oh man.
Wait. I can see Austin Theory in it.
Yeah, young Austin. I could rock with that. I could. Just like I could rock with the Miz being in some of those roles. And that's what I said. Because when you take those characters, they look like the role. John Cena
I can see John Cena playing not like a more of a drama movie wise, but like something like a serial killer movie wise.
See, so that's what I say. We see roles like what I would see him.
He
I would
would
see
be
him like
perfect in it.
no, not like that. You know what I would see him in like one of those like psychological thrillers where he's kind of like
like
a detective type.
He would do Misery.
Stuff like that. Stuff like that.
Oh,
Stuff
wow.
like that. Stuff like that. Yep. Stuff like that.
Now,
Because I can see, especially now,
The
because
victim
Yeah.
or the chick. He could do either
the
role.
chick.
I forget her name. But I mean the cycle.
Yeah.
Psycho.
And the reason why is because now that he's older and he got more of the mature looking face. Yeah, I can see
Kind
that.
of looking like Channing Tatum a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a perfect analogy. He's the Channing Tatum type.
Yeah.
That's the roles he should be playing.
I forgot he existed.
As soon as you said it,
Yeah,
put him in. Take out Channing Tatum and put in John Cena.
Yeah.
Are they one and the same?
Yeah.
It's not that big of a difference.
It's basically one and the same.
Same.
They're one and the same. That's a perfect
Especially
analogy.
like 2015? Absolutely.
Yeah. Channing Tatum in his prime.
He was
and you
in
put
Public
Cena-
Enemy.
That's what I'm saying.
So
if
I
you
can
put
see
Channing
him,
Tatum
yeah.
in his prime and Cena in his prime, yeah, you can put Cena and Tatum's roles and do exactly the same thing. Minus Save the Last Dance. I mean, minus Step Up, excuse me. The one where he's doing all the dancing and stuff. Minus that movie. You need Channing Tatum will do the dance and stuff. And no, we don't need to see him on showing his ass and what was the stripper movie that Tatum was in? Not Night at the
You're on
Roxbury.
your own.
No.
I forgot the name of it.
The Chippendales movie, the one that
Magic Mike.
Magic Mike. Yeah. We can't have Cena and Magic Mike. I mean, we could, but
We had to put him on with Sound.
Cause they had old boy and then they had all kinds of people in that stupid movie. You couldn't pay me enough money to watch that movie.
Because they had Kevin Nash in the first one.
They sure did have K Nash in there.
You did good in that one. I
Go
gotta
ahead.
But
You just can't have.
But yeah, in terms of
well, he was in Trainwreck, but you know what that issue he had in Trainwreck.
Yeah.
John Cena.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say like
Which I don't think that was his
to
fault.
emphasize like on Cena's acting ability. Like yeah, he would be a pretty decent fill-in back then for Tatum, right? But he could also do. He's a flexible actor, I would say.
What was the movie? Okay, hold on. What was the movie with him, with Channing Tatum and what's her face from the UFC? What was the old girl? Dang, it was like an action movie. It was like a low budget one. I think I can't think of the name of that movie. It'll hit me later. But Channing Tatum was the operative. It was a military movie, and it had old girl, not Misha Tate, but the other one.
Oh, I know.
Oh God.
Not Ronda Rousey.
No, not Ronda. It's old girl who should have whooped up on Ronda, by the way, but another conversation. Anyway, it was a movie where they were action movie. John Cena should have played that role instead of Channing Tatum.
Now you got me curious on that one.
I have to look it up later. It'll hit me later.
Now with Gina
Carano,
yeah.
Last one.
I know, yeah, because it came to mind.
Before we move on to our next topic.
Yeah, we're gonna go to that.
But last one.
If this truck stopped beeping, shout out to the trash truck. Anyway,
Yeah, thank you.
cause we're talking about trash.
Yeah, we are. They hear us. But, like, how different do you think Training Day would be if it was Cena instead of that other guy?
Ooh, Cena instead with Denzel and Cena. Yeah. I'm on.
No.
You say I'm Washington and he's Cena. Oh no, that would be. You know what it'd be? It would make it.
No.
It will make.
Hell no.
It will make. Man, it will make a serious movie so funny. Oh, that would be hilarious. Wait a minute.
Like the scene with the Cholos?
No, yeah, y'all. And then the Cena being all big and menacing and stuff, and
He wasn't fit in the bathtub.
no, he went down there, couldn't throw him in the bathtub. They went
He wasn't
no.
fitting in that movie.
And then the scene with Denzel take a old girl to the back, and they had Ethan Hawke sitting on the couch waiting with the kid. Oh no, you can't do that. Oh, you can't do that. That would be so. Oh, that would be so
He
hilarious.
would've ruined.
Having John Cena run and chase down Snoop Dogg in a wheelchair. Jimmy Crack. You know how funny that movie would be if they
wouldn't.
whoever could do a parody with that movie.
Yeah, hilarious would be like the shootout, like when there's a shootout in Denzel's home.
Yes,
his wife
yes.
Right, and the little kid's looking at him, right, and he tells him to get away. He just instead of that he just does this.
That's you can't see me and dip. Oh, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. Oh, that's so funny. No, that'd be hilarious. That would be hilarious. I go front. I go front. That's hilarious.
I wasn't trying to laugh at that, but now
you know it's funny.
Now I can see.
You know it's funny. You can't see me and walk away. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
That I will buy. That part I will buy.
Oh, no.
But the reason why I say a no because
no, we don't.
You know why I say no.
We know if we can't take it would be a good parody if they did it.
It would.
That would have been that would be a tailor
in a hood movie like that.
Oh, that'd be a tailor-made Saturday Night Live skit. Oh, that would be tailor-made for a skit. And then walk away.
He didn't get shot.
Oh man, that's too funny. My chest hurt. Oh no. All right. What else can we talk about? Let's. Damn, do we need to talk about Shannon Sharp? Well, we should. We should. No, we got to. We got to talk. We got to give 5 minutes to this man for being out here tricking.
Talk.
Shannon Sharp is out here. Okay. Shannon Sharp out here tricking. Here's what I mean by that. You're Shannon Sharp. You're a retired pro football player in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
You transition that to being on a sports show where he was on, he was doing some like NFL stuff, and then he was on with Skip Bayless and had this sports show where he became super popular. Transition that to having the second highest rated podcast behind Joe Rogan, which Joe Rogan is like the king of podcasts right now. Shannon Sharp is like number 2, and it ain't close between them two and it's them two and it's everybody else when it comes to podcast world. He transitions that, leaves Fox Sports to go to ESPN. His contract he gets a contract re-up that is on the table worth about $100 million. I say that I gotta give context because what Shannon Sharp has done in his career from beginning to end to this point has been substantial, and if anybody on that trajectory knows that is a very good thing as far as career accolades. I want to give Shannon his props in that regard. Mm-hmm. Here's where the problem lies. When you're messing around, here's the thing. Everybody gets mad about the age. Because
that's the point I wanted you to bring
up. Everybody gets mad about the age. But it goes beyond the age. We're going to address it. So Shannon Sharp was out here messing around with girls who are 19. They're young women, 18, 19, 20 years old. The man is 54, 55 years old. And you're messing with a 20-year-old. Somebody who probably is if you have a daughter, would have been your daughter's age. It's my daughter's age, by the way. And you messing with people that's who is your daughter, who will be my daughter. It's like my daughter's age. That's like him messing with my daughter. Would I let Shannon Sharp mess with my daughter? Nah, without losing his life. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm gonna keep it strong with you as a parent. That wouldn't happen. I'm sorry. Nah, it wouldn't be my daughter that you messing around with. Let me start there. Shout out to my kids. Of course, love y'all both to death. But if it was Shannon Sharp and my daughter, nah, it wouldn't happen. Nah, because real parents would have put the brakes on that ASAP. I don't care what my daughter was doing. Put the brakes on that now. Okay. I say that to say this. It's not the fact that he's just messing with a youngin or youngins, plural. He messing with OnlyFans youngins. Remember we was having a conversation about how many women do OnlyFans, and we said it was upwards of 1 million plus who do OnlyFans. half of them is young because they know that it's a means to an end. But you got somebody with the credentials and the notoriety like Shannon Sharp finding women on OnlyFans to go dip with, and not just any. You understand that if there's a choice of 1 million people, 1 million women, and the best that you can find is a OnlyFans model who's not have no type of fame, who's probably in a real world situation, maybe a 6 at best. When she's no makeup, no nothing, she's probably a 6, maybe a 7. For real, I could rattle off OnlyFans model just off the top of my head who got more notoriety, more fame, probably look 100 times better than that particular one that you chose. But you chose her, right?
That's what I'm concerned.
Now, and the reason why I say that is because you can just see it in your social media feed of the names of these people who has these accolades and stuff. The problem I have is this. Why would if you're Shannon Sharp, you could get anybody. This is the path that you chose to do. You chose the OnlyFans route to go find a woman. Do you know that you know you're Shannon Sharp, right? You know that you could get any woman at any club, at any spot, at any point in time. But so somebody asked me the question: what's the difference between Shannon Sharp finding a 20-year-old at the club versus a 20-year-old OnlyFans model?
You want to go first?
Because both of which is kind of bad, but
You want to go first?
Sure, yeah, I might as well.
Go first.
So there's a lot wrong here. It's not even his choice of women that I'm talking about here, but more of how he's conducting himself and how others are being conducted about it. And just basically how it's all being gone about of. And it just feels so transactional, which it is. It is nothing but a transaction. It's prostitution in all but name.
I don't know. It's prostitution. We're going to talk about $25 a cheek in a minute. Go ahead.
You know, it's...
No. There's a story to that. Go.
No, that's why I'm laughing.
The problem with it all is like this is what happened. Earlier you said, he went the OnlyFans route.
Mm-hmm.
The OnlyFans path. Like it was the only option he had.
Right.
Well, the truth is, it really was his only option. Not that, but it was his only option in the sense of that's what would require his flesh to be satisfied. That's what his body wanted. And like most people in this world, he's a slave to his physical desires.
I kind of like this take. Go ahead.
Okay. People ask all the time, not just regarding Shannon Sharp, but anybody, why do you like what you like? From food, something so simple like peppermint ice cream, which tastes like toothpaste. Why do you like that? And people will say, I like the taste. But that's not a real answer.
Yeah.
Okay, but it tastes
I know. I like that. Keep going. I like this. This is a good take.
But that's not a real answer. You like the taste, but it tastes terrible.
Right.
But I like it.
Right. Which is a viable answer, by the way.
I'm not saying it's not viable, but it's not specific. It
Right.
doesn't explain the why of it.
Right.
But what I'm trying to talk about is that's why he did it. He did it because that's what his flesh desires. And when your flesh desires something, and everyone's experienced this, no matter who you are,
Agreed.
when your flesh desires something, that's the only thing that can satisfy it, which makes flesh so dangerous. It's what makes flesh so lethal, and why sadly so many perish in the flesh, and sadly eternally follow him. Because the desires of the flesh can never be fulfilled. It's a downward spiral. You
I like
will,
it. I like this style. I keep going.
yeah, you will, without a doubt, 100% of every time, all the time, will die following just the pleasures of your flesh. This is why in Christianity it talks about
It's like,
this is why in Christianity Jesus
wait, which side? This side, this side?
This side. You park on this side?
This side, yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 people on this side today.
On this side?
Yeah.
right now
I gotta move this. I gotta move the whip.
Does he or is he?
On this side or that side?
Today, on this side, it's
Right or
Street Sweeper.
left?
On this side. Not across the street, on this side.
All right, let me go.
Yeah.
Y'all resume. I'll be back.
Yeah. Don't move, yeah.
I'll be back down.
Because I hear it, that's why. Just park in the parking lot over there. But keep going.
Anyway, what I was talking about, Christianity and the Lord Jesus Christ, he talks about basically behavior cannot correct flesh.
No, I agree with you on that one.
Right.
100%.
He uses the analogy of a pig wallowing in the mud to cool its flesh. Right? You could take a pig out of the mud, and if he's in the sun for a good minute, he's going to want to cool down, and he's going to be looking at that mud. Right? Why? Because that's what his flesh desires. You know, it's so important in the Bible when it talks about the flesh and the spirit, right? Because he said living in the flesh is practically the first step to damnation.
Yeah.
Living in the spirit is the way of life. And the reason you want to live in the spirit is because the spirit is what pulls you out of these dark desires. And it's not just behavior, it's not just a checklist, it's a way of life, and it's very difficult, it's very hard. You know, I've always, not always, but a while now, I've despised the phrase "follow your heart," because it's very foolish to do that.
Yeah. I mean, because, not to cut you off, you made a good point on that one. Because you cannot follow your heart on something when you know 9 out of 10 it may not be real.
Yeah, or like, for example, you know, from a male's perspective, you know, I'm sure there have been times where every guy, whether it be high school or out of school, where, you know, there's that one chick where, you know, your heart's just throbbing after her.
Yeah,
everyone around you saying, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. But the heart's saying, do it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, opportunity speaks for itself, and it's just like it's just you get caught up in that moment, just like, you know, you want to take that risk, but then you don't want to accept the results afterwards, if that makes sense. So it's like you just made a good point. Like, you see a girl, like, man, I like this girl so much, but you know, she 9 out of 10 way out of my league, but you know, I want to go for it just to see, you know, this is, you know, to not only back in the day, you know, just to shoot my shot, as I must say. I want to see if I have the courage to go up to it. And, you know, sometimes it may not, you know, you may not get the outcome of that, but you tried it. But here's an issue.
You order Uber Eats?
Oh, wow. But because you said, you know, you put yourself in a position when you see something that you want, you know, you're going to try to go after it, no matter if you're shy or not. Now, here's the issue that I'm not saying like an issue-wise, but the problem I have with that, I mean, not the problem I have with that, what I see around it is that what he brings on his platform, what he's surrounded by. So everybody who's been coming on his show, whether if it's, you know, a female or a dude like that, who have a certain different lifestyle, he fantasize, hey, man, maybe I can live that lifestyle too. Because I'm hearing about, oh, you've been with this one, you've been with that one. So maybe I can go get this one and see what happens.
No,
now, the issue I have with this, like, really, dude?
No.
You really finna put yourself out in an episode and F up this whole
here's,
thing you just build up to see it go down the drain over some, you know, over some young tail?
No, see.
I mean, Snoop Dogg said it his best, and I hate to quote him, but you know, being a celebrity, we get a bunch of money, we do a lot of crazy shit.
No, I get it. This is
so,
you know, this.
But
is
now
this,
you go from the number 2 podcast to now that you have to sell off.
Well, see, this is can I
the mistake you just made.
Let me just put a bow on what I was saying.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to talk to the backpackers in the front today.
Yeah, so just to put a bow on my saying, you know, we're talking about Sharp here.
Yep.
And, you know, people are asking, why did he do it? Why did he go down this way? And the truth is...
No, I know why.
I know why, too.
At the end of the day, he won't be able to give a satisfactory answer. He won't. be able to say why he really did it. He did it because he wanted to do it. That's it. In the end of the day, he did it because that's what he wanted. And why did he want that? It's what he wanted.
No.
That's all it is. I've never been one for philosophy, but that's what it is. Like, well, that's what he wanted. That's why he did it. Consequences be damned.
Before you say what you gotta say, you're not wrong about that, man. But see, here's the thing, though. Like I said, you see it every day. You're around it every day. Not just him in general. Hell, we around it every day. But when you put yourself in a position where now you was at the top of your game. You're really again. Everybody loved it. Everything you put on your platform, what if people rock with it, people didn't rock with it. You had the number one podcast or talk whatever whatever we're gonna say about it. To now, you losing. Now all your endorsements finna start disappearing. But you get caught up in the life. It happens. We've seen this thousands of times.
No, we have, and this is why I said let me talk to the back.
Hold on.
Can I talk to the
backpackers?
backpackers?
You straighten it up, teacher.
Let me talk to the
kids.
let me talk to we ain't talk. I ain't gonna talk to the kids in the back this time. I'm gonna talk to all the backpackers in the front. So all my day ones, all the ones who've been rocking with us since the first podcast. We talking. No, y'all do all that. We gonna talk to the backpackers today. The ones who bring their backpacks to school. The ones who wants to pay attention today. I'm gonna give you a story about I'm gonna give you a quick little story about 12 years ago. I'm not gonna go through a whole elaboration of it, but I'm gonna give you 2 words, one man's name.
Oh, I figured give you 2 words for you. I was like, did you just call DX?
2 words, one man's name.
For it.
Tiger Woods.
I knew you was going there.
The reason why I have to reference
him,
no.
I see where you're going with that, but
that
wasn't his fault.
No, it was his fault.
You really think that was Tiger Woods' fault?
Yes.
How?
He made the choice.
Okay, so what's the difference between he made the choice? He said it himself. He told the truth.
Yes, but here's my thing. You were willing to risk everything for the cavalcade of women, in his instance.
Okay.
So the reason I'm using this as a reference point because it's super important. Tiger Woods, worth $1 billion plus, had to give up $500 million to his wife, his ex-wife, and the house, and all that stuff. No. She got half. She got the Eddie Murphy. She got the Eddie Murphy. It's cool.
She had that nightmare half.
Yeah, he had the Eddie Murphy. He had to give up half. It's okay. Now, here's the thing. In the grand scheme of things,
that's a good point.
Was the grand scheme of things was it okay?
No.
The answer was no because of what it cost to him, because his image took a hit. He's never been the same. He never got all them endorsements back. Don't get it wrong. Tiger Woods still plays. He still get after the bag. His son is doing very well. His life has been just fine. Because the reason why? Because he bounced back and made corrections since and got his life together since that point in time.
But see, here's the point.
This is why I want to tie to Shannon. This is why I want to tie to Shannon.
Can I ask you one question though before you do? In that perspective, when you have that, when you're on the top of your game, you got the endorsements, all the millions, stuff like that. If you're not satisfied who you are, not who you are, who you with,
right,
and you go out your element, shouldn't that person already expected that was going to eventually happen?
They know that they're taking the risk, and this is the problem. So what's the difference between? No, you're asking a very good question, and here, like I said, let me talk to the backpackers in the front today. The difference between Shannon Sharp, Tiger Woods, Sean Combs, who else can I put in that list? Lil Boozy. There's a lot of people who lost.
Wait. Now you're going. That wasn't that nigga's fault. That wasn't his fault. He was just in the wrong place on the wrong time.
I'm just saying.
Don't do my little boy.
No.
Don't do Boozy like that.
No, shout out to Boozy. That's my dog. Now, what I mean by that is this: Harvey Weinstein, A lot of these
took a
people.
toll on that one. That's a good one.
No,
right
I'm
there.
just telling you, a lot of these people, like for real, a lot of these people who's been put in this position has blatantly put themselves in a spot where they really didn't have to be put in that spot. They chose that path. Why? Some of it's for control. Some of it is because they want to control the narrative.
Power.
Some of it is because it's a power thing, because they have money and they could choose to like pick this one. But here's the thing, and like I said from the beginning, what's the difference between you picking an OnlyFans model versus you picking somebody out of the club versus you picking somebody off Instagram? You know the honest answer is? At this juncture, 0.
Okay.
You think you're getting because you think you're getting something better just because you chose them in the club,
Can I ask you a question? What if he would have? So let's take the OnlyFans. Let's take the Instagram.
Let's take the OnlyFans. Let's take the OnlyFans off.
So, what if he would have decided he would have picked up a worthy girl? Like if he picked up a church girl or somebody who, a teacher girl or something like that.
Yeah. So that goes to my point. So what if it was somebody different who wasn't necessarily an OnlyFans model? Now, do you think he would have got shook down like this? Because here's the point for the backpackers in the front. He's getting shook down. He is getting shook down for all of his money that they could possibly shake this man down for. This man's getting shook down for $50 million, by the way. He probably doesn't have to come up with 50, but here's the part I do know. If you offered $10 million to keep this quiet, and they said no, obviously they know something. Mm-hmm. They know enough. That even though it's a shakedown, they got enough on you to make you come out of the pockets for $10 million. Because if you were fully innocent, here's the difference between Jay-Z in the same situation and Shannon Sharp.
I hate that you went there.
No, I got him. Like I said,
wrong.
for the backpackers
you're
in the
not
front,
wrong.
I'm not talking to the kids in the back. Y'all should already know this if y'all in the back. For the backpackers in the front who don't know this, who don't have the social smarts to get this done, the difference between Jay-Z... The difference between Jay-Z and Shannon Sharp in the same exact situation, getting fleeced by the same lawyer in a similar situation, is that Jay-Z knew that he didn't do nothing. He didn't throw not a single cent towards this. He said, look, I got lawyers. You better have 100% ironclad proof that it's me, or I'm going to go chase after you. He knew with 100% certainty that I didn't have no involvement. Shannon Sharp can't say that. That's why he had to offer $10 million. Y'all do understand that Unc is wrong, right?
Yeah,
He's wrong. He offered $10 million. So he know he did something wrong. Because if you didn't do nothing wrong, you don't have to offer nothing.
Well, bribery is guilt.
Exactly. So he did something.
Extortion.
And that's why I know that he's going to pay the price for this. Now, this is the problem. It's not the fact that it's extortion. Part of it is you probably said something wrong in the conversation. Obviously, you probably did because you did.
He said something. Hey, baby,
because
let me tell you what they did.
You can't talk about choking and all this stuff and getting it all recorded. You can't talk about that stuff and talk about it in a space that's not, conducive to that
So
conversation.
basically, he won 50 Shades of Grey.
Imagine the whole reason this is happening is because she heard him say, I don't care for my mama's cooking.
No, I'm just saying that I know it's a lot of things. But see, you gotta understand.
That's a good point.
No. Here's the reason why you gotta know who you're dealing with, because it is stuff like that can happen. Mm-hmm. Her mood could change in a heartbeat of, I want to deal with him, now I don't want to deal with him. Now she's gonna try to fleece him because she has something on him. Does that make sense? This is all this is, because like when she couldn't get her way for something, whatever that something was. Whether it's the whole $25,000 to cheat conversation, which was put out in text, by the way, that she said it's $25,000 to cheat, $50,000 just to do this. So she's making it transactional, and then when he's saying, "Well, I don't want to pay no $50,000," even though you got it, you shouldn't have to. If you got it like that, you don't have to pay out like that. But see, this goes into the other conversation: how you handle your money when you get a semblance of success. When you get to some sort of semblance, that doesn't mean you have to get to like the millions. Even when you have a little bit of semblance of success, people will try whatever they can to try to knock you down a peg. because you're in a position that they're not. They want what you have. Mm-hmm. If you got $100,000, they want that $100,000 from you, and they will try to fleece it out of you however way you can.
There's an Ice-T line from Dave Chappelle when he said the player haters ball. Why he gotta have a nice ball? Why he gotta look better than you?
Exactly my point. That's the type of mentality he's had, and a lot of these people who
wait, hold on, I gotta do remember the Big Boy interview when he had the balls on there and he asked him how far you drive, and then he that person he made like. You F these niggas like I ain't on my shit.
Right.
That's a good point.
But see the reason
you got this and I don't have that.
You're
so yeah.
I don't care if you're at the peaks of Shannon Sharp or you're just somebody who's just in the middle getting someplace. When you have something that other people want, people will try to. You could be a regular worker and somebody will try to take $20 out of your pocket just because they want to try to get it out of your pocket by any means. Can I borrow $20? They don't need $20. They don't want to see if you're going to give it up. And the people who try to do this to you for guys, it's not other guys half the time. It's females who try to fleece you. Y'all just don't understand the whole transactional conversation, which goes into what you were saying, Vic, about the transactional part. Because a lot of times it is transactional. It's just, you got to know who you're dealing with. And you gotta understand, if you don't do your due research and know that this is somebody who you really want to put your investment into and risk it for, then you probably shouldn't be dealing with them. See, Shannon Sharp, his problem was you risked it for somebody who didn't have your best intentions at heart. There's plenty of other women that you probably could have been with who would have had their best intentions at heart, who would not have never put you in this type of situation, even if it didn't work out.
So what? It's like, it's like the bowling pin went for the bowling ball.
Right, exactly right. Because you're chasing after something. So so the reason why you're chasing after these Instagram girls, because y'all think that people think that these OnlyFans girls, because they're on OnlyFans, they know that it's going to, they equate it to like the old, like how they perceive porn stars. Let me clear it up for the, I don't want it to get clipped for YouTube. See, the reason why the people in the industry, the girls who are in the industry, they could deal with a lot of these athletes and stuff. They just deal with them quietly. 90% of you don't know. You may know maybe one or two who's been dealing with them. But if you talk to any one of these people in the industry, they could tell you, oh, I've been with this athlete, this movie star, this athlete, this movie star. They'll rattle off the list of them. You wouldn't have known that unless they told you. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they know how to keep it quiet and they keep that money moving. It's transactional. The problem is these athletes and actors and all these people, they try to equate these OnlyFans models, who are just regular people, by the way, who are not in the industry, to what the industry people do. They put them in the same box because people on OnlyFans and the people who's in the industry, there's no difference between them. They do exactly the same thing. Just one does it in a more mainstream form, and the other one does it in a platform where they try to hide it. Well, I just do. You're a corn star in every sense of the word. So if you went on OnlyFans, you're a corn star. It's what it is. The problem is that everybody treats you as such, and so now you want to make it transactional. The problem with it being transactional is as soon as you put yourself out there in that, they're going to say it's transactional. Well, I'm going to go to there because I know that this is what they're about, so I know I'm going to get the cheeks. And I got some bread, and I'm willing to throw some bread out there. I'm willing to make it rain. If I make it rain in the club, at the strip club, what's the difference of me actually being able to bring one home for the same amount of money that I'm throwing at the strip club? This is the reason why strip clubs is going down, and the reason why the OnlyFans is popping is because you don't have to deal with the what if. It's I know I could get it. 50K could get me this. I could throw 50K in the club and not get that. So why am I gonna throw 50K in the club and not get it? Well, I could throw 50K towards somebody else and get it. That's the problem that you have now because y'all put yourselves out there. But y'all making these stuff transactional. But you're also making these young girls think that this is the only path for me to get you some real money. And that's why I said it's not really on the women who do it. You'd be like, well, it's the girls who do it. No, it's the guys who allow it to be. And certain women. But if you're a guy and you don't choose to deal with these people, you deal with people who are more upstanding and trying to build a real relationship versus trying to go after the fancy of, well, this girl's like likes to shake it. She's decent looking. Decent looking is the key word. Decent looking. They don't have to be drop dead fine. They just have to be decent at this point.
Decent.
They're decent. Yeah, I can say your minimum OnlyFans person is probably making $10K. Minimum.
That's still good though.
To them, that's great money. You know what that does? It keeps them out of working a regular job.
Yeah.
And now I don't like working no regular job, so they go resort to this. But then they'll be also want to tell you, like the girls want to tell you, well, I don't need a man. Yes, you do. Who's paying for? Who's giving you the $10K? You do need them. You just don't need them directly. You need them just to financially take care of you. So you're not just asking, well, I don't need no man. Yo, yes, you do. No. You do need a man because it's men who's paying for you to do it. And that goes into what we said before about this conversation. Like, dude, you're Shannon Sharp. There is no reason in the world why you should have to do that. If you're going to have that money to blow, man, go find somebody who you can invest in and have a real relationship with. You can get tail on the regular. Stop messing around with these young girls who all they want to do is extract money from you. Exactly. And then don't be on your podcast and talk about other people who do have a young one who actually came. I ain't gonna talk about who's the comedian who
I know who you're talking about.
there was a comedian he had a comedian on and Shannon Sharp was like, where'd you find your girl? Forever 21? Trying to like clown.
Was it Damon? Not Damon.
No, it wasn't Damon. It was it was Chappelle's boy. Darnell Rollins. Yeah. He was talking to Darnell because Darnell has a young one. But the difference between what Darnell was saying versus what Shannon Sharp was doing is that Darnell was like, I'm cool with being with somebody younger. This is where you said what was the question about the age gap difference between like an older person dating somebody young. The answer to that is nothing. If it's under the right pretenses. There's no problem with somebody who's older dating somebody who's younger if they both have the same ideals in mind as far as them building a actual relationship. Yeah. But what I have a problem with is that a lot of times these young people, they don't have enough life experience to know to not try to take advantage. There's certain ones who do. There's certain young people who have the right mindset, the right frame of mind, and they do understand that they're not trying to take advantage. They do want to try to be with somebody who's there, and their purpose may be older, which is true.
Yeah, talking about age difference. A 50-year-old and a 20-year-old, it's weird, but it's not wrong.
Right.
I would not call it wrong.
Correct.
Right. It's just weird.
Exactly.
But a 50-year-old and an 18-year-old,
well,
that's cutting it a little too close.
Correct.
Look, I would say anything 20 and up, you're a full-fledged adult, do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really believe 18-year-olds should be called adults because they're really not.
Still babies.
I mean, on paper, sure they are, but I don't think you really become an adult till you're 20.
Correct.
I mean, after all, you can't even drink till you're 21.
Can't
so
do it.
it's kind of skewered.
Correct.
But, yeah.
So what's the difference between Matt Damon and Shannon Sharp?
Shut up.
What's the difference between Matt Damon and Shannon Sharp? Because I want people to understand this. Matt Damon's been dating 18, 19-year-olds for years.
But
I don't know. I want to know. The reason this is for the backpackers in the front.
I know where you're going with this, and
he's been doing the same thing. Here's the only difference.
You went there, the white and black.
No, part of it is that. Part of it is because he's a white boy dating like blondies and people like Europeans and stuff. True. Europeans. Shut up.
You know what? I'm gonna be quiet.
No, but this is part of the conversation piece. When it's Matt Damon doing it, everybody have a coconut smile, right? Shannon Sharp do it. Now it's a problem.
But, okay, who's more popular?
You're not saying
Matt Damon.
So think about it.
No. They're on the let me rephrase that. They're literally on the same scale. Yeah. You're literally talking about one and the same.
But Matt Damon, that's
he's the I know he's the golden boy.
What's the movie he was in?
He been in so many different.
But his series movie, the action ones.
He been in a bunch of them too.
That's my damn. I forgot what it's called, but I watch it all the time. But here's the thing.
But Matt Damon does the same thing and catches nothing. I mean, he be. Let me get it right. He be catching something, but he don't be catching no drama behind it. And he's been dating young people for years. That boy be on a yacht. I guarantee you, he's sitting with 3 of them. And I guarantee you, they ain't name one of them over the age of 21.
But,
on me. I'm just being honest.
I'm being honest too.
No, and this is the thing.
That's the black
This is documented. This is nothing new.
That happens. That still ain't gonna never change.
That's what I'm saying. But see, he doesn't. Yeah, but he doesn't catch.
If we do it,
because
the problem.
Because that's when they were talking about
that's just regular day in the office.
Right. See, that when they were talking about the age gap, everybody like getting mad because they were getting mad at Shannon Sharp for 2 things. One, because of the age gap. Matt Damon's been doing it for years. There's been a whole bunch of other actors who've been doing this stuff for years.
So why they don't bring that up?
Because they don't want to. Because they don't want to bring it up until it's like, oh well, he's getting sued and this is the reason why. No. Matt Damon been doing this for years. Call it. Sorry. He ain't the only one. He ain't the only one. I just use him as an example because people know this. This is not like it's not household news. This is household news for anybody who actually pay attention. Watch TMZ from time to time. You'll catch up. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You'll catch up.
They'll keep you caught up.
They'll catch you up. Don't you worry. The thing about Shannon is that, and the only reason why I get mad is because it's the manner in which you risked it.
You got mad because it's in your age group.
I'm more mad that it's not. I'm not mad that it's in my age group. I'm more mad that I think that he could have chose better. And you know, to be honest, the answer is if this was Matt Damon.
I'll give you that.
I think he would be. I think you could choose better
because his personality. That's why
you could choose better. I think you could choose better.
Yeah.
And I think you're choosing for the. I think like what Vic said was right. He's not choosing to try to build a relationship with. He just wants somebody to just be there so he could get his thing off, pause, and keep moving. That's the problem I have. At what point in time are you going to be where you're going to want to have like a real relationship? Never. So you're gonna be a dog person the rest of your life? Or it's gonna be me and my dogs, me and my dogs. So you're no different. So you're no different than Tracy Ellis Ross, who was complaining a couple of days ago about, well, I can't find nobody who's married. No. So here's the other thing, ladies, one sitting in the backpack for ladies. Ladies in the front row. I want y'all to hear this too. What's the difference between Shannon Sharp and Tracy Ellis Ross? The answer is nothing. She's been dating young people too. The only difference is her young people stay quiet and ain't tried to fleece her yet. Because guys don't want to be, the guys ain't trying to fleece her. But they could fleece her, but they're not going to because they know they got instant cheeks.
You know Tracy got that
No, because guys know that's instant cheeks, and they're not going to mess up the instant cheeks. They don't care about the money, and they know she paying for everything, so they can just sit there and ride in the pocket. And they can, exactly. That's the difference. They're not worried about the bag because they know the bag is coming.
We do it, and I got everything.
I got everything. Just have a coconut smile. You stay in the background. You don't do nothing. You don't say nothing. You stay right here in this house. When I need you, I will call you. If I'm not here with you, you go stay with your mamas and them. And then when I need you, I will call you. I need you at the house.
It's sad to.
But then she has the nerve to talk to Michelle Obama about, well, I'm so disappointed that I couldn't get married.
Out of all the people, she had to go.
You complaining to
would have been better off.
You complaining to somebody? No, you're complaining to somebody. Yes, who's married, but who's having problems in their relationship, in their marriage too. Yeah. The problem is that Tracy Ellis Ross, you're no different than Shannon Sharp. The only difference is you're not getting fleeced by your young guys yet. Your YNs ain't fleeced you yet. Shannon Sharp's getting fleeced. Them YNs don't do that. Because YNs know that they'd rather have free access and have a coconut smile, even if it's a little bit of access, versus making a scene and a spectacle. But let one of them people pop out and try to fleece her. Then all the ladies gonna come out and be like, oh, poor Tracy Ellis Ross. No, she doing the same thing as Shannon.
Well, this just goes to show that. I mean, people are looking at it from different perspectives when in reality it's all the same playing field. You know, just because you're looking at, okay, so like this is the level, whether you're looking at it from under or over, it's still the same level.
Yep.
Right. You
That's
know,
true.
No matter how you look at Northwest, the actual direction.
Exactly. Northwest.
It's still
We ain't
Northwest.
we talk that Northwest. Talk that Kanye talk.
You know.
I was finna say that same thing with Kanye.
You know, what I'm saying is directions are directions.
Yep.
No matter how you look at them, whether it's upside down or side to side,
Facts.
it's the same thing.
Facts.
Right. You know, just because you're looking at it wrong,
Yep.
See, I'm
it
gonna
doesn't
quote.
change.
I'm gonna quote old Solo on this one. And Cam, you know,
This
the battle rapper. He said this.
One bring two
niggas, three niggas, bring four
No,
niggas.
this that you better not say that. So that's my dog on Solo.
But he said this one line on there, and it was hard. He said you wouldn't know who's on the phone until you answer it.
True. You don't know who's on the phone until you answer.
You don't know what your surroundings is until you be around it.
No, here's
and
more.
they've been around the surroundings. Or this is the problem is, put it like this: he got all this. What else he gonna do?
No,
What else he can do? What else? What can you do?
Choose better.
You choose your surroundings better. Yeah, I agree.
This is not, Big made a perfect point. He's not choosing who he loves. He's choosing who he lusts.
Yeah.
Big said it right he said it right at the beginning. He's not. I'm just saying, choose better. Choose better.
Here's the thing. There's a lot that goes into thinking of a sinner, and that's everyone.
Yes.
We're not talking about just Sharp here. I'm talking about everyone, from me to Paul to Cam to you listening. We all fall under that category.
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Cannot deny that. No matter what it is, if you want it bad enough, you will reason yourself into doing it.
Facts.
No matter what it is. That's what we're seeing here with Sharp and many other people who are finding themselves in such terrible positions because ultimately they reasoned in their own minds and in their own hearts, this is what they wanted, this is what I'll do. Regardless of all the warnings, regardless of all the heeds, regardless of everything, they will do it if they truly want to do it, because that's all they can do.
Correct.
Right? Like, he can't do anything else.
Right.
Now I know what you're thinking, well, what do you mean by that? He can't do anything else. He can only do what a sinner can do, and that is sin.
True.
That's all he can do. He has no choice but to do that. That's why flesh is dangerous. This is what you're seeing here, right? He cannot combat it. It's his own body. It's his own flesh. It is a dying body with a living soul that is sadly going to perish with its flesh because that's what it's slave to.
Right.
He's a slave to sin, and a slave can only obey its master. That's why he does this. And this goes for many other people. This goes for all the human race. There are two masters on this world. You can only be a slave to one of them. Sin, not the devil. You cannot be a slave to the devil. But sin. You are a slave to sin, or you are a slave to Christ. That is Jesus of Nazareth, the one who died and was resurrected for the sinners who repent and believe. And only then, when that person is born again in him, can they finally say no to sin. True. Only when a sinner has Christ as his Lord can he do something other than that. This is why no amount of psychology, therapy, behavior, all of that will not fix anyone. It may do something for a time, but you're putting a Band-Aid when you need bone surgery, right?
That's true.
I know this may seem a little off topic.
It's not off topic. It's actually on topic, believe it or not.
That's why I talk about this. why anyone does this. Like, why do people cheat? Because the sinner is God of himself, which is no God at all. And because of that, they're going to do what they want. Why do people cheat? Because that's what they wanted to do. It's not as deep as you think. They'll say, well, you were ignoring me, or this, or that, where at the end of the day, it's what I wanted, therefore I did it. The sinner can do nothing but do what he wants, and sadly, that is why he perishes, not only physically, but eternally in hell. And the tragedy of it is all, is it doesn't have to be this way.
That's a fact.
It does not have to be this way. But,
Based upon choice.
It's all choice.
Choice driven.
It started in the garden.
Yep.
In the garden, in the beginning of the creation, with God, Adam, and Eve. Why were Adam and Eve kicked out of the garden? It wasn't because God decided to be mean.
Choice driven.
It was done because they deliberately, with full knowledge, full intent, full action, disobeyed the one rule he gave them. Do not partake the fruit of the tree. They deliberately ate it with full knowledge of knowing not to do it, and they suffered the consequences.
Yep.
That is when humanity fell. This is life. It is built upon the choice. Why do people go to hell? They choose to, whether they are aware of it or not. You choose to go to hell when you don't choose the only living option.
Don't choose
It's
Christ.
not about being a good person. It's not about donating all your money and resources. It's not about that. Not that those are bad things, but that's not what gets you in. It's the choice of choosing Christ over death, over flesh, over sin.
Christ over everything.
You choose him and you believe in him alone, like you would trust in a parachute. That's the level of trust we're talking about. We are all currently on a plane destined to crash. People, you either have a parachute or you don't. Those with the parachute are tragically going to die in a fire.
Facts.
Those with the parachute will escape the flames. That's how you trust Christ, like a parachute. With your life, you have to put it on and put it on tight and know it's there and trust in it with everything. Choose life. That is what matters. To this day and until he comes back or until you go to him, choose Christ. Choose life. Do not choose what your flesh desires. Do not choose the way of the world. Do not choose anything of this world. I'm not saying don't care about it. I'm not saying completely disassociate yourself from it. But do not choose it over God. If anything ever happens, we have to make a choice between something and God. It shouldn't even be a choice.
God above everything. God above everything. How many times we say that?
Every damn day.
Apparently 101 videos.
Yeah. Actually longer than that, but it's all right.
Even on my posters, God above all.
All
Anyway,
right, fellas.
last thoughts, y'all. Get your thoughts
Before
on.
we wrap it up.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm asking.
You said before we wrap it up, let's get your final thoughts in.
Okay, fine. I'll lead us in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Ooh, I was right on. Wait, hold on. Boy, you called that right on time like a mug.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that was tickets waiting to happen, boy.
We're
Anyway.
gonna end this episode with the street sweeper.
Yeah. not them bang bangs. The real street
Actual
sweeper.
Put the
don't
mic
want a
up
ticket.
to the window.
Hold on, wait. He about to pass you right now.
Now, watch the dude across the street. That's all his cars. See all them cars in the park?
There he is. I'm watching and see he got his car parked there.
Yeah.
Look at the dude right here in the middle.
Yeah, that's all.
He
That's
did.
him. That's
Oh
all
no,
his cars.
no, he about to get a ticket.
Yeah, I'm glad he get a ticket.
He gonna get a ticket for that. You can't.
'Cause he got
Anyway,
all his cars.
Anyway,
more of that story is move your car.
he chose
Yeah,
more
no,
road.
he chose. Facts. He chose to park
chose
there.
to park there,
Facts. So he gonna choose to catch that ticket. Go ahead, keep
I'm
going.
glad he got all the
Lack
goddamn
of
cars on there.
awareness does not free you from consequences.
Oh, good. Oh boy, say one. That was for the kids in the back.
Say that one more time.
That's for the kids in
This
the back.
is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. When I
What?
just said a second ago,
Look at me scared now too.
just what I said a second ago, people choose hell whether they know it or not. That's what I mean. He parked there. unaware that the street sweeper was coming,
Probably
yet
can't
he's
get his car
still
started.
going to suffer the consequences of it.
Yep.
Lack of knowledge does not
You
excuse
got
you.
like 100 cars and you park right
No, but see, here's the thing. It's not like it was lack of knowledge. It was the information is right there. It does tell you there's a sign.
Or a lack of responsibility. He didn't read.
Yeah, no, the sign is right there.
there. Oh, he knows.
The sign's there.
But
And,
that's
and,
not-
and that goes into the point. The sign is there.
It's called the Bible.
You talk to him.
People say, well, I didn't read the Bible. Well, maybe you should. I think you really should. You know what the Bible stands for? Well, I heard
The
this
acronym,
well.
basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Right? People talk about, well, why is my life a mess? Right? Well, life has an instruction manual. It's the way of life, and it's the Bible.
Yep.
Right? The Bible is not just a book of morality. It is the book of salvation. That's the simple truth of it. You know, it's not like the false idols and gods of Buddha and paganism and all that, where it's find nirvana, inner peace, and all that. No, it tells you who you are and what you need.
Yep.
The only religion that does,
True.
because it's the only religion.
True. Look at all these cars moving. Anyway, get your just find thoughts in while I'm looking at the people getting
Okay.
ticket.
Nice final thought.
All right, so I'll really wrap it up this time. I do hope you enjoyed our topic about John Cena and The Rock and all those movies. You know, it is interesting watching the career of some of these people from where they started to where they are now, you know, with John Cena going from being Fred's dad in the Fred movie all those years ago to now. And I will give him the credit where it's due. He is a far better actor than I think people give him credit for. He's not the best,
That's a fact.
but he is quite good, and he is certainly better than The Rock in terms of actual acting. You know, the kind of actor The Rock is, he's on par with Vin Diesel. They just kind of play themselves. You know,
I agree.
personally, I think the best movies Vin Diesel ever did was probably Riddick. I'm standing on that. I think they're better than Fast and Furious.
Kind of think about that one for a second. Go ahead.
Right. But our little movie talk and our talk about Sharp and our turn into religion, and not just religion, but the importance of understanding this world and what's going on in it, and the choice of the matter. And more importantly, we here at the PVC Podcast Crew genuinely and truthfully want to thank you for choosing to listen to us this fine day and this fine evening. It does mean a lot. We may joke a lot, and we may say, you don't have to like the video to like the video, no matter how true that is. Press it now.
Yeah, talk that. Talk that.
But
Press it now.
But we are thankful for you choosing to spend your time with us and for rocking with us. If you've been here since episode 1, let us know. That is a big deal, and we really appreciate it. We hope you stick around when we reach episode 201.
Yep.
301 and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to be stopping this anytime soon.
Mm-mm.
I can't see the future, but I don't see any reason to stop. And I'm going to close it with that. Paul, Mr. Do-Rag.
Mr. Do it.
No.
Well, you know,
It's his thinking cap.
basically, it is. I'll give you that one.
It holds the stuff together.
Some pretty good topics today on that one. I will say this just because, you know, I've trained in pro wrestling before, and, you know, the bumps and everything in this. But I will say this. When you at the peak of your career and you know that you still could be irrelevant, whether you play a good guy or a heel. I mean, I know guys who play perfectly good roles on both sides of the element. If we're gonna keep it talk right there, there's plenty of my buddies who's in the pro wrestling business now who plays good heels and stuff like that. But when you at a stage of knowing that you can change the whole ethnic of people in a situation, you got them hooked. And I don't care whether it's you doing it in pro wrestling, I don't care if you do it in NBA, I don't care if you know, on the center stage when you're in front of 1,000 people and it's just you and one mic. Things happen. People will, in this stage of age, people will see a transition where the definition good versus evil. Some can be good in a good way, some can be bad in a good way. But necessarily is when you can put an expression on people's face and leave with that, that's money. And I always say that. Now, for the Shannon Sharp situation, I will say this. I'm not condoning on his behavior or everything like that when he, put himself in a situation. But I will say this. When you at a stage in your life when you got all that money and all this fame and all that endorsement and you got other people rocking to you and you watch it go down the drain just because you made one final mistake and stuff like that, that's on you. You gotta, you reap what you sow in this world. I mean, you do what you gotta do until it's all gone. I mean, I said it like this, like, look what happened to MC Hammer. First it was all good, now it's all gone.
Well, because he chose to gamble.
Yeah, and he admitted that.
He chose to gamble.
He chose to gamble, and he admitted that with content, knowing that what that risk could have done to his career. So,
and I think, go ahead.
Remember this: if you guys don't take anything else from us from the PVC Podcast, always remember, actions leads to consequences, whether if it's good or bad. And whether how people around you see you different from time to time. You might be the same person, but you ain't going to be the same person when you step outside that door. So, just be aware of your surroundings and be aware of what you do with, how you invest your money and stuff like that.
Okay. Are they coming for you?
Yeah.
What did you
see? This is what happens when you talk about too many famous people. They just want to run up to your house.
It's cool. Fresh?
Exactly. They want to get me. This is my doing. It's all right.
I can see that. Come out of the apartment.
Come out with your hands high.
Nerdboard Fresh. We have this accomplice around it. Is that Victor right there?
No, that ain't. No. That's the ambulance. That's different.
I already know where they're going. They're going down the street.
Oh, that confirmed it.
Yeah.
The tweakers. All the tweakers. They already had one pass out in the corner.
Anyway, let me get these final thoughts in. Two things. One, first and foremost, as far as like John Cena, The Rock, and all that stuff, I always say, be mindful of how that looks. Cause I think the people who only see one avenue from a person, like there are certain people who like watch wrestling. That's all they know of a person. They don't know that John Cena has a catalog of movies. We probably rattled off a bunch of movies that people in the WWE now wouldn't even have the slightest idea that he did. Mm-hmm. Just be absolutely honest with you. They probably don't even have the slightest idea that John Cena's been in movies where they could reference how he got to be to this point. But I also say this. Don't take this all to heart, even though he's playing this role extremely well on different platforms and stuff. And this is what this like real life storytelling comes into play. This is one of those things that WWE has been doing a fantastic job of, like taking the show away from the show, putting it on a Pat McAfee show, putting it on other sports channels, putting it on podcasts. I know they're putting it on places where you'll be like, dog. They're just putting on. They're really going hard into putting this role, but understand that it's still a role. Mm-hmm. Don't act like that this is John Cena in real life, that he's really like this terrible dude. Y'all don't know this man in real life. For the ones who do know him in real life, they know how he really is. They know that he ain't a perfect dude, but they know he ain't like this terrible dude either. So just remember, with all that being said, it's just a show. It is just a show.
So be like Roman Reigns. Come on, man. That's in the show. That's close to show with a thank you and an honest.
It's a show.
Do it right.
It's a show.
That was the best segment right here. What he did.
And if you ever been to a WWE event or any wrestling event, post camera, y'all don't see when they come back out and say what's up, shake hands with the people, say hi. I'm just saying. I'm saying for the people who never had a chance to go to any. Who have never had a chance to go to any like WWE events. They only see it on TV. When you see it in real life, you will understand that how much of a show and how much of a production that they put on.
Exactly. Damn, that's why I love you. Say that one more time.
It's a great show and a great production that they put on, but it's a show and a production. Understand that. Naomi is not as bad as what y'all think she is. It's a show and a production. Anybody who knows her in real life knows that she is a good person.
Sweetheart.
So understand that. Just remember, it's a show. Now, for some real life stuff, as far as Shannon, like I said, my only thing about Shannon is, dog, be mindful of how you're choosing. I think that's what this comes down to. I'm not going to be the one to tell you not to choose younger. You could choose younger. I saw that. You could choose younger. You could choose you could choose younger. No, I'm not fixing nothing. I ain't fixing nothing.
The way you expressed it, that was
You could
hilarious.
choose younger. You could choose somebody who is let me correct this, because this is the stuff that he's getting hit for.
Yeah.
You could choose younger. You could choose somebody who is not black. You could choose that stuff.
Why do you say it like that?
Because he's getting flack for that.
Yeah, he is
He's getting flack because he chose somebody who is younger and not black.
Yeah.
Oh, not.
Yeah.
He could choose somebody who is not black. Nobody says just because he's black, he got to choose somebody who's black. He doesn't have to. He don't have to choose that.
There's a lot wrong
He doesn't.
with that.
He doesn't have to choose somebody who's younger. There is a lot wrong with that, and I'm not even going to address that. We don't have enough time right now. I got to go to work.
We got to put a cap on this.
But the thing is, but I want to address it because he just needs to understand that when you make decisions, there is an equal and an opposite reaction to every single decision that you make. And just because you think everything is cool, it may only be cool for a period of time. Things change, people change, whatever that may be. You have to choose not just for what's now, but always you got to project of what's going to happen in the future. What do you project is going to happen? And one of the things that he's been so good about in his career is that he's been choosing based upon what he saw in the future. But when it comes to some women, some girls, some of the bops, so you choosing bops. But see, this is the thing. Every single person, when they get to that notoriety, it's the bops that get them down. It's the bops that got Diddy. It's the bops that got Tiger Woods. It's the bops that's getting Shannon Sharp. It didn't get Matt Damon, but I'm pretty sure if these bops turned on him, guess what? It would get Matt Damon too. This is what gets a lot of people in trouble, because everybody thinks because you got the fame and you got the action, you got the motion to get any of these girls you want. You do.
Red Fox said
But
it himself. Harlem Nights.
Choose with choose with integrity and choose with purpose. If you choose under those pretenses, a lot of these things don't happen. Anyway, outside of all that, shout outs to all 122 of you who's been subscribed to us. Shout out to our day ones who've been rocking with us. We appreciate all of you. Much love to our affiliates, of course. Check out Clash of the Masters on YouTube, on World Heat Entertainment. Shout out to Jason Lame. Shout out to all the squad who's been rocking with us with that whole production. We got a lot more coming.
Shout out to the director, Marco.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shout out to all of y'all. We appreciate that. Dirty Joe, like I said, we're gonna see you soon. We got a project with him in the works.
Boy Z, I saw him yesterday. He said we did good.
Z, shout out to you, of course. Shout out to everybody, family, friends, all that stuff who's been all a part of this, who always making a point to make this happen. Like always, y'all. For my man Paul, for my man Big, I am Cam, aka Nerd Boy Fresh. Like always, it is God above everything. Till next time, family. We will do this again soon.
Much love and respect.
You really gonna do the Dolph Ziggler point?
Don't.
You ruined it.
So we had a 5-minute pause. Well, we just did.
All right, let's do it one more time. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it one more
That's how you end the show.
time. I got it. Let's
Come
do it
on.
one more time. I'm gonna do it for the thumbnail.
All right.
For my man Paul, for my man Big, my name is Cam, aka Nerd Boy Fresh.
Freaky.
Like always, it is God above everything. Till the next time, family, we will do this again soon.
Much love and respect.
Salute.
There it is.